Welcome to Headline Hub Updates. Subscribe and press the bell icon for more updates. The headlines flash across screens with alarming frequency, each one more urgent than the last. Newsrooms around the world scramble to keep up as the South China Sea dominates the global conversation, its name now synonymous with tension and uncertainty. Every day, new developments emerge, fueling a sense of unease that stretches far beyond the region. Chinese Coast Guard blasts Philippine vessel with water cannon. The images are dramatic, powerful jets of water slamming into the side of a much smaller Philippine boat, its crew bracing against the force. These confrontations are no longer rare. They have become a regular feature of life at sea, a stark reminder of the power imbalance and the risks faced by those who dare to challenge it. Manila protests, Beijing's illegal barrier at Scarborough Shoal. Outraged officials gather outside embassies, their voices echoing the frustration of a nation whose access to traditional fishing grounds is being choked off by new barriers. The Scarborough Shoal, once a lifeline for Filipino fishermen, is now a symbol of contested sovereignty and growing resentment. U.S. warship sails through contested waters, China issues stern warning. The world watches as American and Chinese warships shadow each other, their crews on high alert. Each maneuver is scrutinized, every radio transmission analyzed for signs of escalation. The risk of miscalculation is ever present, and the consequences could be catastrophic. These are not dispatches from a distant hypothetical conflict. The South China Sea is now a daily flashpoint, with the Philippines at the center of a superpower standoff. The waters teem with ships from rival nations, each asserting their claims, each unwilling to back down. For the people of the Philippines, this is not just a geopolitical chess game. It is a struggle for survival, sovereignty, and dignity. Filipino fishermen and Coast Guard crews face constant harassment from a far larger neighbor, their sovereign claims challenged by Beijing's sweeping nine-dash line. Every journey to sea is fraught with danger, as Chinese vessels loom on the horizon, ready to intercept or intimidate. Yet, despite the risks, these men and women persist, determined to defend their livelihoods and their nation's rights. For Manila, the challenge is existential. Defend its territory without provoking war with a nuclear-armed giant. Military leaders and government officials meet in urgent sessions, weighing every move, every word. The stakes are nothing less than the future of the nation, and the margin for error is razor thin. In Washington, the crisis is a test of American resolve and the credibility of international law. Policymakers debate how far the United States should go to support its ally, knowing that any misstep could draw the world's two most powerful militaries into open conflict. The eyes of the world are on Washington, waiting to see if promises of support will translate into meaningful action. The stakes: global trade, regional stability, and the future of the rules-based order. The South China Sea is a vital artery for international commerce, with trillions of dollars in goods passing through its waters each year. Any disruption here would send shockwaves through the global economy, affecting everything from energy supplies to consumer goods. Regional leaders gather in urgent summits, seeking common ground and a path to peace. Amid rising danger, a bold plan emerges from the U.S. Congress. Lawmakers, recognizing the gravity of the situation, push for new measures to strengthen alliances and deter aggression. The debate is fierce, but the message is clear. The status quo is no longer sustainable, and decisive action is needed. The goal: transform the Philippines into a formidable deterrent, bristling with advanced weaponry to make China think twice. Joint military exercises intensify, new defense systems are deployed, and Filipino forces receive training and equipment upgrades. The hope is that a stronger Philippines will not only protect its own interests, but also contribute to a more stable and secure region. This is a pivotal moment, a potential turning point in the standoff. As dawn breaks over the contested waters, the world holds its breath, watching to see whether diplomacy or confrontation will shape the future of the South China Sea. The choices made now will echo for generations, determining not just the fate of a region, but the direction of the global order itself. Enter Senator Marco Rubio, the driving force behind a bold and uncompromising new American strategy in Southeast Asia. Rubio, known for his hawkish stance on foreign policy, has become the architect of what he calls the flood strategy, a plan designed to fundamentally reshape the security landscape of the region. At its core, the flood strategy is about overwhelming speed and scale. It calls for a rapid, unprecedented surge of military aid and arms sales to the Philippines, aiming to deliver more equipment in a matter of months than has been provided in decades. The goal is to saturate the archipelago with American firepower and technology, making it a formidable bulwark against external threats. The plan is ambitious: overhaul Manila's aging defenses with the latest American technology, everything from advanced missile systems to state-of-the-art surveillance gear. By equipping the Philippines with cutting-edge weaponry, the United States hopes to tip the balance of power in the region, sending a clear signal to adversaries that the status quo is over. For years, diplomatic protests and negotiations have failed to halt China's assertive moves in the South China Sea. Senator Rubio argues that only a show of real strength, backed by tangible military capability, can deter Beijing's ambitions. The era of patient diplomacy, he insists, has given way to a new era of active deterrence. The centerpiece of the strategy is to arm the Philippines with advanced anti-ship missiles, powerful radar systems, and integrated air defense networks. These tools are designed to make any hostile action by China costly and uncertain, raising the stakes for any potential aggression. Alongside these new weapons, the Philippines will receive modern naval assets, patrol vessels, fast attack craft, and support ships, enabling its military to project power and defend its maritime territory more effectively than ever before. This marks a dramatic shift from the previous policy of strategic ambiguity. The United States is now openly committed to transforming the Philippines into a key anchor of its Indo-Pacific security network, forging deeper military ties and conducting joint exercises to demonstrate unity and resolve. The message to Beijing is unmistakable. The days of uncontested Chinese advances in the South China Sea are over. The Philippines, backed by American might, will stand its ground. But time is running out. China is rapidly entrenching its control over artificial islands, building military bases, and expanding its reach. Each day that passes, the challenge grows more daunting. That's why the flood is more than a metaphor. It's a call for immediate, decisive action. Emergency funding is being pushed through Congress, and arms exports are being fast-tracked to ensure that the Philippines receives the support it needs without delay. The objective is clear: get advanced capabilities into the hands of Filipino forces within months, not years or decades. Training programs are being accelerated and new equipment is arriving at a pace never seen before. It's a high-risk, high-reward gambit. The hope is that by acting swiftly and decisively, the United States and the Philippines can halt China's maritime march and restore a balance of power in the region. No longer will the Philippines be a passive victim of regional power plays. With new capabilities and strong alliances, it is poised to defend its sovereignty and play a leading role in shaping the future of Southeast Asia. The region's military calculus is about to change dramatically. As the flood strategy unfolds, all eyes are on the Philippines, and the world waits to see how this bold new chapter in Indo-Pacific security will be written. At the core of this modern security strategy lies the U.S. Philippines Mutual Defense Treaty, a foundational agreement that has shaped the alliance between the two nations for decades. Signed in 1951, this treaty was designed to ensure that both countries would stand together in the face of external aggression, providing a sense of security and stability in a region often marked by uncertainty. Over the years, the treaty has served as a symbol of shared commitment, but its practical application has sometimes been clouded by ambiguity, especially in the context of new and evolving threats. For years, uncertainty over whether the treaty covered the South China Sea emboldened China's use of so-called gray zone tactics, actions that fall short of open conflict but steadily undermine the sovereignty of neighboring states. Chinese Coast Guard and maritime militia vessels have repeatedly tested the limits, operating near disputed islands and challenging the status quo, while regional actors watched and waited for a clear response. Now, Washington has removed any doubt. In a series of high-profile statements and joint patrols, U.S. officials have clarified that any armed attack on Philippine forces, aircraft, or public vessels in the South China Sea will trigger the U.S. defense commitments under the treaty. This explicit assurance is meant to deter potential aggressors by making the costs of hostile action unmistakably clear. This shift transforms the treaty from a vague promise into a real-time security guarantee. The stakes are now higher for any nation considering aggressive moves, as the risk of direct confrontation with the United States has become far more tangible and immediate. The new doctrine is called integrated deterrence. It's not just about words on paper, but about combining clear treaty commitments with rapid modernization of military capabilities. Joint exercises, upgraded equipment, and enhanced intelligence sharing all contribute to a more robust and credible defense posture. But deterrence is a two-way street. The Philippines must also step up as a capable and reliable partner. U.S. support is not a blank check. It requires the Philippines to invest in its own defense, improve readiness, and demonstrate resolve in the face of pressure. A stronger, more professional Philippine military makes the alliance not just symbolic but truly credible. It signals to adversaries that any attempt to coerce or intimidate will be met with unified resistance. Every hostile act now risks rapid escalation, potentially drawing in the world's most powerful military. The presence of U.S. carrier groups and advanced weaponry in the region serves as a constant reminder of the alliance's strength and reach. In this new era, the balance of power is shifting. The future of the South China Sea and the broader Indo-Pacific will be shaped by how effectively deterrence is maintained and whether alliances can adapt to meet the challenges of the 21st century. The Flood strategy is backed by a massive increase in U.S. military financing for the Philippines. This funding leapfrogs Manila's capabilities, focusing on modern patrol vessels, advanced drones, and maritime patrol aircraft. Upgrades to Philippine bases will enable rapid joint responses, not permanent U.S. bases. The centerpiece new ground-based missile batteries including BrahMos and potentially U.S.-made systems. These create a lethal anti-access network threatening hostile ships hundreds of kilometers out. The waters around the Philippines could become a deadly missile engagement zone. The military balance is being fundamentally altered. China's strategy is a masterclass in long-term power projection. The People's Liberation Army Navy is now the world's largest, backed by fortified artificial islands in the Spratlys. These island bases extend China's reach with runways, ports, and missile emplacements. China's gray zone tactics, using Coast Guard and maritime militia, harass and intimidate rivals without triggering war. The People's Armed Forces maritime militia swarms contested areas, blurring the line between civilian and military. The goal make daily life so difficult for the Philippines that Manila eventually yields. By normalizing its presence and overwhelming rivals, China aims to render international law meaningless. This is the challenge the U.S. and Philippines must counter. The stakes are nothing less than control of the region. Nowhere is the conflict more tangible than at Scarborough Shoal and Second Thomas Shoal. Scarborough, a traditional Filipino fishing ground, is now blockaded by Chinese vessels. At Second Thomas Shoal, Philippine Marines hold out on a grounded Wutu-era ship, besieged by Chinese Coast Guard and militia. Resupply missions face water cannons, dangerous maneuvers, and floating barriers. Each mission is a test of will, broadcast to the world. These flashpoints are daily proof of China's gray zone campaign and the risks Filipino crews face. Beijing is probing for weakness, testing both Manila and Washington. Without credible deterrence, these outposts could fall, handing China another victory. The urgency for action is clear. Rubio's plan is bold but not without risks. Flooding the region with advanced weapons could spark miscalculation, turning standoffs into shooting wars. China will likely respond by further militarizing its own outposts, escalating the arms race. Other Southeast Asian nations may feel compelled to arm up or pick sides, raising regional tensions. Overdependence on the U.S. could limit Philippine autonomy and create long-term vulnerabilities. Sophisticated weapons require U.S. training and support, increasing America's footprint and potential friction in the Philippines. Nationalist backlash could undermine the alliance. The path to deterrence is fraught with peril. The debate over the U.S. alliance is fierce within the Philippines. Supporters see America as the only credible partner against China's bullying. Nationalists warn of trading one dependency for another, fearing the Philippines will become a proxy battleground. Economic ties to China complicate the equation. Retaliation could hurt the Philippine economy. The government must balance sovereignty, security, and prosperity. The outcome will shape the nation's identity and future. Washington's challenge: prove this is a partnership of equals, not dominance. As tensions mount, the outcome remains uncertain. U.S. military support could finally deter China, raising the cost of aggression and keeping the peace. But the risk of escalation is real. Misjudgment or preemption could trigger a catastrophic conflict. ASEAN unity is at stake. Some nations welcome a stronger Philippines, others fear militarization. The region could fracture under superpower rivalry. The flood of American steel is a monumental gamble. Will it build a dam against conflict or make war more likely? The fate of the Philippines and the Indo-Pacific hangs in the balance.